In the age of ancients, the world was unformed, shrouded by fog. A land of grey crags, arch trees, and everlasting dragons. But then there was fire, and with fire came disparity. Heat and cold, life and death, and of course, light and dark. Then from the dark they came and found the souls of lords within the flame. Nito, the first of the dead. The Witch of Izalith and her daughters of Chaos. Gwyn, the Lord of Sunlight, and his faithful knights. And the furtive pygmy, so easily forgotten. With the strength of lords, they challenged the dragons. Gwyn's mighty bolts peeled apart their stone skins. The witches weaved great firestorms. Nito unleashed a miasma of death and disease. And Seath, the scales, betrayed his own, and the dragons were no more. Thus began the Age of Fire. But soon the flames will fade, and only dark will remain. Even now, there are only embers. And man sees not light, but only endless nights. And amongst the living are seen carriers of the accursed dark side. Yes, indeed. The dark sign brands the undead. And in this land, the undead are corralled and led to the north. Where they are locked away to await the end of the world. This is your fate.
Alright, so this is Crinus. This is going to be my first Let's Play on YouTube here. I'm going to try things a little differently. First off, I'm not the most skilled gamer, so I'm sort of trying to leave that right out on the table so everybody knows. Uh, don't expect any super skills or fast times or anything like that. In fact, you expect to see me dying a lot, and I might even summon people a little bit here or there. I'll probably cut that sort of thing out, though, so you don't have to watch it, because that's boring. I will farm. You won't see that either, probably, unless there's something that happens during it. But yeah, hopefully you enjoy me failing at Dark Souls. I'll be playing a variation of Ulasil build, or however that's pronounced. I will put the basic build guideline in the description, just in case anybody's interested. Probably mostly light armor, dex weapons, and enchantments. Not much to say about that beyond that. Crystal magic weapon, or not? No, actually, sorry. Greater magic weapon. I tend to favor the long swords and boulder swords. I'm not sure about the other gear yet. We're sort of probably just going to wing that as we go along. Skipping the shield there, as I don't think I'll need it. It's pretty useless. Most things I could do with that, I could just do with my character's bare hand. I didn't actually mean to skip this, but it's just something I do without thinking. I do it a couple of times later as well, but I'll try to catch myself and stop from doing that. There's no reason to skip it. You guys could probably enjoy being able to read it. Havoc physics. I'm actually going to be using this spell a fair bit early on, just to nail annoying targets or just whatever. It's especially nice for pulling targets before you get a bow or things like that. Failing at combat miserably. Expect to see a lot of that. Gonna see me use some of my spell here a little bit, just for giggles. No, not much reason beyond that. He's a pretty easy fight, so I felt like messing around a little bit with it. I'll be honest, I also didn't really want to piss around and hitting him with my little dagger either. Not sure what that was about.
Only in the ancient legends it is stated that one day an undead shall be chosen. To leave the undead asylum in pilgrimage to the land of the ancient lords. Lordran.
First thing you're going to see me do here is a little prep work. I die a few times, but they're mostly deaths I anticipated. There wasn't much rhyme or reason behind my leveling here. I just sort of threw points into stuff for the sake of throwing points into them. As I get gear and have an idea of what I want to do, what order I want to do things for the build, it'll be a little more specific, and I'll explain what I'm doing as I do it. Took off the hat because it was fugly. Thought you could jump over that, guess you can't. So what I'm going to do over here is actually collect the fire soul, or the firekeeper soul from just over here. It's you can't really escape, so I will probably just die to the ghosts or off the side. Well, you can escape, just not at low level with no curse damage. Now that I have that Firekeeper soul, I can buff my Estus Flask. Having it at 1 or 2 early on is really quite amazing, actually. It makes a pretty big difference in the way the game plays early on. Actually going back down now to collect the items from near the undead dragon. I think it's a dragon, is or undead drake or whatever the hell it is. Obviously I chose the master key as my starting item. I almost always do, unless of course I'm playing a bandit, in which case then I usually take the bombs or the I can't remember what it's called, but the item that lets you speak to Quelaag. I'm told that if you only collect one of the items, I'm not sure which, that he won't wake up. I guess it's probably the shield. But I kind of forgot at the time, so I got smoked pretty good. Not that it really matters, I didn't have any souls, and I was intending to go back afterwards anyway, so realistically I probably saved time. I'm not sure why I thought you could jump that up that. It's pretty obvious that you can't. Shield's great early on, especially for fire damage. It can really save your butt on the bridge later on as well.
Oh my, you again. Oh, I know. How about this?
Just talking to him to join the Covenant for easier potential summons later if I need to. Either me summoning other people or being summoned. I'm not sure if I want to join Sunborough later.
Then first, a covenant with the gods. Now let me share my miracles. Only their ultimate effectiveness will be determined by your
I'm probably not
efforts
going to have more than
and
8
your
faith for this entire run, so I probably won't be using any miracles. The cracked red eye orbs aren't going to be of much use to me. I don't intend to PvP much, if any. Neither of those will be of much use to me either. I'm not sure why I even bothered picking them up. I was mostly coming down for the Homeward Bones and the Lloyd's Talismans. Going to attempt to collect a few items from the graveyard here. I fail pretty spectacularly at it, but I do eventually get all the items I need. Now, if only I had the armor set that allows you to get to that Kirk's armor set, so I could damage people while I roll through them. Then I wouldn't look quite as much like a moron. Ow. What happened there is I went to roll up the side of the hill, but I actually rolled right back down because it's got too much of a slope. Right there, I almost forget why I actually went into the graveyard in the first place, which was to pick up the spear. And then I'm like, oh, wait a second. I didn't do that yet. And then in a few moments here, I forget again as well. I'm great like that. Rolled right into that attack instead of around it. It was pretty awesome. I didn't expect that giant skeleton to actually follow me quite as far as he did, but he doesn't end up being a problem. Now here I hit this bonfire to do some leveling, but completely forget why I wanted to do leveling in the first place. Which, as you probably recall, it was actually the spear from the graveyard, which I continually forget I picked up in the first place. I get a little ways out here, and then I'm like, oh wait, that's what I was going to do. Using up the item souls to get the levels I need. I don't tend to store them all that long personally. I don't quite understand why others do. Feel free to give me your thoughts on that if you want. So, a couple 100 points short, but we can get those pretty quickly over here from the undead. I guess technically they're hollowed rather than undead, but it's basically the same thing. It was pretty smooth to try to parry his spam attack. That was never going to work out well. Now we've got a pretty convenient weapon and a pretty convenient spear. With the 100% physical blocking of that shield combined with the ability of the spear to attack over it, I'm pretty well protected from these early guys. Not that I actually used that much. I sniped this guy with my spell, but with that shield I've got on, I take almost no damage from his fire bombs anyway, so I don't know why I bothered. Always nervous when I make this jump, probably because I actually fall more than I make it. I did it pretty easily that time, thankfully. I tend to break this ring pretty early on, mostly intentionally, so I collect it right away. I was glad that I got that stair parry, because that was going to be somewhat harder to do, but I was too low to actually get the riposte. Took off some of my armor there, just to make sure I could do a fast roll. I'll probably attempt to maintain the 25% fast roll throughout the entire playthrough. I think the AI in that hollow actually broke, so he just sort of stood there and let me backstab him. I wasn't really going to complain though. These guys can be a bit of a pain if you're not paying attention, just because they, with cloth armor like this, they can actually stun lock you pretty well. A lot of people don't know about that route I just took there. For whatever reason, it's really easy to miss. I didn't even know about it for the longest time. It's not actually really worth all that much, but it irritated me for a while when I would play through and see it there, and like the soul there, and not understand how to get to it. Bit of a trap there, but mostly they're so long as you watch the stun, they're pretty easy to kill. Especially if you back up to the door like that, because they'll just pile up like like they did there. Still love that, just foreshadowing to the umpth degree. And I roll right into another attack. A couple of them, in fact. And I don't think I ever went back down to get that shield yet. I'll probably have to do that in day 2. Not that it's actually worth anything to me, but it'll bug me if I don't at least open the door. Pretty self-explanatory there, just adding a little more endurance and hope that I could add a little more armor soon. But I was pretty sure that that wouldn't be enough just yet, so I didn't bother looking. Failing at combat pretty miserably here. This whole section's actually pretty terrible. I thought I could parry more easily, but it's pretty tricky to parry multiple monsters at the same time, when multiple monsters are attacking. I did, however, actually confirm, for myself at least, that you can parry multiple monsters at the same time. You just can't riposte more than one at a time. Basically what happened is two targets actually attacked me almost exactly the same time. I hit the parry, and they actually both got parried. And then I hit the riposte, and it hit the one on the side. Wish I had been recording when it happened, but that's life. I'm not even sure why I killed him. He doesn't give many souls, and he doesn't actually attack you if you take the stairs. More spells here, simply because I didn't want that one guy throwing junk at me. Again, I probably could have just used my shield and absorbed most of the damage if it did hit me, but I didn't want to worry about it. Here's one of the few situations where I actually feel better doing it this way, just because if you're not careful here, you can get hit by a few of those fire bombs at the same time, and it can be kind of unpleasant. You can see me consider trying to do the jump trick here to land but next to the Black Knight, but I decide that I'm not confident enough in my ability to do so. Each time I've tried, I ended up landing way down below in the depths and dying horribly. It'd be nice to put like +1 on the spear if I kept it for more than a little while, so I could two-shot those guys, but I don't end up keeping it very long, as you'll see pretty soon here. Failing but parrying this guy miserably. Ended up going for a backstab and failing that as well. I was pretty happy with that Titanite shard there, but things just got better from there actually. Other than, you know, screwing up this part here pretty miserably. I'm not sure, I've read that you can jump over it, but I ended up actually just trying to roll under it by accident, and it didn't work out very well. But after I again fail at riposting that guy, he drops a long sword, which makes me extremely happy. It's, as I mentioned earlier, it's one of my favorite weapons in this game. I think it has a fantastic moveset. With good upgrades, it has solid damage, and it works well for this build because I'll be using weapon enhancements. This was pretty stupid of me. Usually it takes a bit more time for me to get into my groove when it comes to killing Black Knights. But I thought I'd give it a shot anyway. I get a good backstab right early on, but the pillar there stops me from chaining it, so I have to try to get into a position again afterwards. And he smokes me pretty good here. I thought he was going to kill me, but I managed to get my shield up just in time. Failing miserably at getting backstabs again. Pretty low on HP, so I bait out the attack and try to get a Estus flask in, but then I realized that I'm actually on my enchantment still. Bait out the attack again. Right about here, I think. Yeah. My enchantment wore off, so my damage is pretty abysmal now. But I go for the backstab and fail miserably yet again. It's actually pretty tricky with a moving target like that. You actually have to move in the same direction and sort of get them on the opposite side. And sometimes I forget that. I got it there though. At this point, I was starting to get pretty confident I could take him, and I managed to get my lightning back on. My resin, I should say. Screwing up more backstabs. Take a horrible blow to the face again. And that's why you don't let the enemy's health influence your decisions in combat. I got greedy, and he smoked me for it. If I had kept playing that the same way, I probably would have had him no problem, but you know, I thought to myself, hey, I might actually just kill him here, and that was a huge mistake. You'll see me using the shield a lot less now that I've got the longsword. I really enjoy the two-handed R2 of the longsword. It has great reach for its size and does fantastic damage, especially early on or when you have good upgrades for it. I shouldn't have taken that hit, but I sort of got stuck up on the door when I tried to dodge to the other guy to take him out with the sword. Taking more silly hits. Just about die. Need to remove some of the useless stuff off my item bar so I can actually switch to between items more easily. Was pretty happy about that as well. For a normal play, that's actually one of the best shields in the one of the best medium shields in the game. I'll probably use it quite a lot, or at least until I get a Balder shield, which is quite possibly my favorite shield in the entire game. In no small part due to the fact that it looks awesome. Decided not to fight the Black Knight or Havel again. Was reasonably sure Havel would just smoke me. I wasn't feeling quite very good about my movement at this point. Hopefully, when I start recording day 2, I'll be a little better off in that regard. Havel's Ring's not too crucial to this build early on anyway, or later on for that matter. My good buddy Epic Name Bro told me that told everyone really, but that it's better to actually fight the Taurus demon here than using the dropping thing. I think I tried to drop once and that works out, but from there on I'm pretty sure I do a legit fight. Incidentally, it's actually the first time I've done a legit Taurus demon fight instead of just dropping on him repeatedly. But he's right. The dropping can be very weird. You can land in a really bad place, and it makes it really hard to get back up the ladder. I can't even count how many times I've gotten winged on my way up the ladder and died for it. What I find amusing about this fight that you'll see here is that I continually have issues actually getting in range, and continually forget that I actually have a ranged spell that I could have used to close the gap instead of getting myself underneath that lovely club of his. That attack only actually winged me. When attacks just barely clip you, they often do relatively little damage. In fact, in an extreme case, Havel will do like no damage if he just clips you. But then I ate a pretty solid hammer blow to the face and had to heal up. You can see what I was talking about with me having difficulty actually getting in. It gets me into a bit of trouble a couple of times, but I do figure it out. That was nasty. I was pretty amused by that. I didn't expect that to actually work. But I didn't expect him to do a jumping attack either, so... Didn't work quite so well the second time. But I got him. It didn't actually take too much damage. I was pretty happy overall. Considering it was my first time actually fighting him on the ground instead of repeatedly jumping on him. Although, that said, I guess I have actually fought the weaker ones that are in the runes later on numerous times, so I should have known how to take him on. Just not used to being in a narrow area like that.
You find that no need to hide your reaction. I get that look all the time. Oh.
When I was trying to talk to him, it kept using the sign on the ground, and for some reason the option to toggle didn't come up, or at least I didn't see it anyway. It probably was there.
The way I see it, our fates appear to be intertwined. In a land brimming with hollows, could that really be mere chance?
Also, I'm totally a dick for talking over Sunbro.
Why not help one another on this lonely journey? This pleases me greatly. Well then, take this. We are amidst strange beings in a strange land. The flow of time itself is convoluted, with heroes centuries old phasing in and out. The very fabric wavers, and relations shift and obscure. There's no telling how much longer your world and mine will remain in contact.
I was always really impressed by the way that it's described
cross the gaps between the worlds.
The multiplayer environment in this game
jolly cooperation.
in means that actually makes sense within the game world instead of just spelling it out. I thought it was a nice touch.
My summon signature easily by its brilliant aura. If you miss it, you must be blind.
I was pretty nervous about this. I've had bad luck with the bridge the last couple of times recently. To a degree, that bad luck does continue. I'm not sure why that hit me. Usually you can hide behind that wall, but it worked out well enough. I didn't take too much damage, probably partly because the dragon shield. Dragon crest, I think it is, actually. That'll wrap up day 1 once I get to the bonfire. I'm not sure when day 2 will be up. It took me a lot longer to edit this than I expected. Hopefully I can get it faster in future.